Open your phone camera. Switch to the front-facing lens. Get close. Look at the edge of your iris, the colored part of your eye, where it meets the white. Do you see it? A thin, dark ring, darker than the rest of the iris, circling the entire edge like a border drawn in ink. If you see it clearly, congratulations. Your body is advertising something to every person who looks at your face. Something you did not choose, cannot control, and have been broadcasting since the day you were born. If you do not see it, or if you see only a faint shadow where a ring should be, your body is advertising something too, something about your age that you may not want advertised. That ring is called the limbal ring. It is the single most powerful attractiveness signal in the human eye. More influential than eye shape, more influential than eyelash length or eyebrow arch or the symmetry of the eye socket. The limbal ring, a detail so small that most people have never noticed it on their own face, changes how every human being who sees you unconsciously evaluates your health, your age, and your reproductive fitness. You have been wearing it your entire life. It has been doing its job your entire life, and until this video, nobody told you what it was doing. Subscribe, because the ring around your iris is the most important feature on your face that nobody taught you to see. Every human being is born with a limbal ring. Everyone. Look at any baby photograph. Look at the eyes. The iris is framed by a dark, clearly defined border that makes the eyes appear luminous, wide, and vivid. That is the limbal ring at its peak. Brand new, fully intact, maximum contrast. This is why babies' eyes look the way they do, not because their irises are a different color, not because their pupils are larger, though they are, because the limbal ring is at its darkest and most defined in infancy and childhood, creating a contrast between the iris and the sclera that the human brain reads as health, youth, and vitality. The ring begins to fade in your 20s. The tissue at the junction of the cornea and sclera, where the ring is formed, gradually thins with age. The pigment that creates the dark border becomes less concentrated. By your 30s, the ring has softened. By your 40s, it may be faint. By your 50s and beyond, in many people, it has nearly disappeared. The fading is not cosmetic. It is structural. The limbal tissue contains stem cells that are essential for corneal repair. As those stem cells decline with age, the tissue thins and the optical properties that create the dark ring diminish. The ring does not fade because you are less attractive. It fades because the regenerative capacity of your cornea is declining. Your limbal ring is a clock. It starts at maximum when you are born and counts down from there. Everyone who looks at your eyes is reading that clock unconsciously. They do not know they are doing it. They cannot articulate what they are seeing. But the response is measurable, consistent, and cross-cultural. A study published in 2011 by researchers Peszek, Samachniad, Hoffman, and Foley in the journal Evolutionary Psychology demonstrated that faces with prominent limbal rings were rated as more attractive than identical faces with the ring digitally removed. The effect held for both male and female faces, evaluated by both male and female observers. The researchers did not alter eye color. They did not change eye shape. They did not modify any other facial feature. They only changed the limbal ring. The attractiveness rating changed with it, a single ring of pigment at the edge of the iris. Present in every human, fading with age, and powerful enough to shift attractiveness judgments when nothing else about the face changes. That is not a cosmetic feature. That is an evolutionary signal operating below the threshold of conscious awareness. The question that has occupied evolutionary psychologists since the 2011 study is not whether the limbal ring affects attraction. It does. The question is why. The leading theory is the health and youth hypothesis because the limbal ring fades with age and can be affected by health conditions that compromise the cornea. A prominent ring serves as a probabilistic indicator that the person you're looking at is young and healthy. Your brain is not evaluating the ring aesthetically. It is evaluating it biologically. The ring is a fitness marker, the same category of signal as clear skin, symmetrical features, and full hair. In evolutionary terms, selecting mates who display markers of youth and health increases the probability of successful reproduction. The limbal ring would have been a useful signal in ancestral environments where other health indicators, medical records, dental hygiene, body mass index were not available. You could not ask someone in a pre-verbal society for their health history, but you could look at their eyes and see whether the ring was sharp or faded. A 2026 study published in Evolutionary Behavioral Sciences by researcher Michael Howard tested a competing theory, that the limbal ring works not through direct health signaling but through a visual illusion called simultaneous brightness contrast. The theory proposes that a dark ring at the edge of the iris makes the white of the eye, the sclera, appear whiter by contrast. Whiter sclera is independently associated with attractiveness because it signals good health, low inflammation, and clear oxygenation. In other words, the ring may not be the signal itself. The ring may be the frame that enhances a different signal. The white of your eye looks healthier because the dark ring next to it provides contrast. The same white sclera without the ring looks duller, older, less healthy. The ring is not the message. The ring is the amplifier. Howard's study found that the truth may involve both mechanisms. The limbal ring likely signals youth directly because it genuinely fades with age and simultaneously enhances the perceived whiteness of the sclera through contrast. Two signals reinforcing each other through a single feature. Here is what this means practically. When someone looks into your eyes and finds them attractive, they are not responding to the color of your iris. They are responding to the contrast between your iris, the white of your eye, and the dark ring that separates them. The ring creates the frame creates the contrast creates the signal, and the signal says, this person is young, this person is healthy, this person is worth looking at. All of this happens in milliseconds, below conscious awareness, in every human interaction where eye contact occurs. And you have been broadcasting it, or broadcasting its absence, every day of your life. If you are watching this and you just pulled up your phone camera again, subscribe. Because what comes next explains how your DNA determines whether your ring is strong or fading. The limbal ring is influenced by the same genetic architecture that controls iris pigmentation, but it is not identical to it. You can have dark eyes with a faint limbal ring. You can have light eyes with a prominent one. The ring and the iris color are related but separately regulated traits. The genes involved overlap significantly with the eye color genes identified in the 2021 Science Advances study of 195,000 individuals. OCA2, HERC2, TYR, TYRP1, SLC45A2, and SLC24A5, the master regulators of melanin production in the eye, all contribute to limbal ring visibility. But additional genes involved in corneal tissue structure, stem cell maintenance, and collagen density in the limbal region also play a role. The key gene for limbal ring visibility may be less about pigment and more about structure. The transparency and thickness of the corneal limbus, the tissue where the ring is physically located, determines how much of the underlying pigment is visible. Two people with identical melanin levels in the limbal tissue can have different ring visibility if one has thicker, more transparent corneal tissue and the other has thinner, more opaque tissue. This structural component is why the limbal ring varies so much between individuals of the same age and same eye color. Your genetics determine not just how much pigment is in the ring, but how well the tissue above it displays that pigment. The ring is a collaboration between pigment and architecture. Both are genetic, both are heritable, and both decline with age, but at different rates in different people. Some families maintain prominent limbal rings well into middle age. The genetic combination they carry, high melanin production at the limbus plus thick, transparent corneal tissue, creates a ring that resists the aging process longer than average. Other families lose the ring early, sometimes in their 20s, because either the pigment production declines or the tissue thins faster. If your parents have prominent limbal rings at age 60, you have a reasonable probability of maintaining yours longer than average. If your parents lost theirs early, you may lose yours early too. The clock speed is genetic, the clock is universal, but the rate at which it runs is written into the specific combination of structural and pigmentation genes you inherited. The contact lens industry understood this before most consumers did. Several major contact lens brands now sell lenses with an artificial limbal ring built into the design. The lenses do not change your iris color, they add a dark ring at the edge that mimics a youthful limbal ring. The product exists because the industry knows what the research confirmed. The ring makes you look younger and more attractive, and people will pay to get it back after biology takes it away. There is another ring that can appear around your iris. It is not dark, it is white or grayish blue, and it is not a sign of youth. It may be a sign that something is wrong. It is called Arcus senilis, and it appears as a white, opaque arc or complete ring around the outer edge of the cornea, just outside where the limbal ring sits. In people over 60, it is common and generally considered a normal age-related change. In people under 40, it is a clinical finding that warrants investigation. Arcus senilis is caused by lipid deposits, primarily cholesterol and triglycerides, accumulating in the peripheral cornea. The deposits create a visible whitish ring that can partially or completely encircle the iris. In older adults, the correlation with cardiovascular disease is weak. In younger adults, particularly those under 40, the presence of Arcus is associated with elevated cholesterol levels and an increased risk of coronary artery disease. A 2021 meta-analysis published in the journal Atherosclerosis found that corneal Arcus in younger individuals was significantly associated with higher LDL cholesterol, lower HDL cholesterol, and an increased prevalence of cardiovascular events. The ring is not diagnostic. It does not mean you have heart disease, but it means your lipid levels may warrant testing. Here is the striking contrast. Your eye can carry two rings simultaneously. a dark limbal ring on the inner edge, signaling youth and health, and a white Arcus ring on the outer edge, potentially signaling cardiovascular risk. The youth ring and the warning ring on the same eye, visible to anyone who looks closely enough. The dark ring fades with age. The white ring appears with age. They pass each other going in opposite directions on the same structure. One is the signal your body sends when things are working. The other is the signal your body sends when something may need attention. Most people have never heard of either ring. Most people have never looked at the edge of their iris closely enough to notice either one. But both are there or both are absent, carrying information about your age, your genetics, your health, and your evolutionary fitness on a feature of your body that is visible to everyone who makes eye contact with you. So open the camera one more time. Look at the edge of your iris. If you see a dark, clearly defined ring, your limbal tissue is intact. The stem cells in your corneal limbus are functioning. The melanin at the border is concentrated. And every person who looks into your eyes is receiving a signal below their conscious awareness that reads as youth, health, and vitality. You did not choose to send that signal. You cannot stop sending it. And you have been sending it in every conversation, every photograph, and every moment of eye contact since the day you were born. If the ring is faint or absent, your limbal tissue has thinned with age. The pigment has dispersed. The signal has weakened. This is normal. It happens to everyone. But now you know what was lost, not a cosmetic detail, a biological broadcast, a fitness marker that your species has been reading for hundreds of thousands of years, in every face, in every pair of eyes, without ever learning its name. If you see a whitish ring on the outer edge, particularly if you're under 40, mention it to your doctor at your next visit. It may mean nothing. It may mean your cholesterol is worth checking. The ring is not a diagnosis. It is a suggestion, and it is the kind of suggestion that most people walk past a mirror every morning without noticing. Two possible rings, one dark, signaling youth, one white, potentially signaling risk. Both genetic, both age-dependent, both visible without a lab test, a blood draw, or a medical appointment. Just a camera, a close look, and the knowledge that the edge of your iris has been carrying information your entire life that nobody taught you to read. The limbal ring is the body's oldest advertisement. It runs without your permission, changes without your input, and communicates information about your biological age to every person who meets your eyes. The beauty industry sells contact lenses to fake it. Evolutionary psychology explains why we respond to it. Genetics determines how long you keep it. And all of it, the attraction, the aging, the health signal, the evolutionary purpose, is written in a circle of pigment thinner than a pencil line, on the edge of the most expressive feature on your face. You have been wearing it every day. Now you know what it says, the limbal ring. A dark circle at the edge of your iris that you were born with, that fades as you age, that changes how every human being perceives your face, and that the contact lens industry now sells back to you for $30 a box. It signals youth. It enhances the whiteness of your sclera. It is controlled by genes that overlap with the 61 loci governing eye color. And its evil twin, the white Arcus ring, may be telling you something about your heart that your doctor has not checked yet. Two rings, same eye, one dark, one white. One says you're young, one says you might need a blood test. Both have been on your face this entire time. Drop a comment. Can you see your limbal ring? Is it sharp or fading? And do you see the white ring? Let us know. Subscribe for more. Share this with someone and make them look at the edge of their iris. We will see you next time.